We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not in just some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we consciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I just want to start off by saying um, the first line of that quote, our deepest fear is that we are not inadequate. All my life, I have felt and told myself that I was inadequate, and I didn't need much proof to tell myself that. When I was in school, I was in what they like to call PA reading, all these bad classes, that they give you a little bit of extra help, and there's nothing wrong with extra help. But when you see the whole class laugh at you when you have to get extra time on a test because you just learn different, because your brain works different, because you are different, and all of us are different. That's the thing that baffles me, is that we're all different, but then sometimes we're all trying to act the same. We're all different, but yet you want to fit in amongst everybody. You want to be in the it crowd. You want to be everywhere but with you. It's like I couldn't take that well. I couldn't take well that I was different. I couldn't take well that I learned different. And the narrative that I began to tell myself was that I'm inadequate. And that was the first thing I feel like I ever learned in life, was that, oh, I'm inadequate. Oh, I'm not this compared to them. And now I feel as though it's a compare game. You've grown up in the sense where you're learning to compare yourself to other people. And I even was looking through some old childhood videos, and I don't remember learning in school that I was like different from everybody else, and like that was perfectly okay. And I understand that because it was hung up all over the walls. It was hung up all over the walls in my preschool class, but I think I never read it, and we only remember the bad. I played pretty high level tennis, and the matches that I remember aren't the wins. I rarely have remembered a win that I've had. I've rarely remembered the greatest days of my life playing tennis. I remember the worst days, though. I remember the bad days where I lost to that guy I shouldn't have lost to. That's all I remember. I only remember the misses. And I was coaching tennis for a full-blown career. I still love to coach tennis. I still love working with people on the tennis court. But when I would teach tennis, it's like the main thing that holds people back is the fact that they start to think too much. They could be doing everything right. They could be playing great when they're just not thinking and they're just playing, And then once they start to overanalyze and think and say, oh, actually, how am I playing this good? How am I doing this? All of a sudden, they just start messing up, and they miss. And then they start spiraling and saying, why do I keep missing? Why do I keep missing? Yet they've made 15 out of the last 20 shots, but they only remember the 5 they missed, And I don't know anything about science. I don't know anything about the human brain. I don't know anything, right? But my brain automatically goes to saying, I'm not this. I'm not rich enough. I see everybody on Instagram that I follow, or they're like the entrepreneur space, where it's like everybody's rich off of something, and I'm just not. Yet nobody's rich. Like there's not that many people in the world that's rich. Like my feed is the top 1% of people. Like there's no, I don't see broke people on my feed. I never see it, and when you scroll through your Instagram, whatever your feed is and whatever you feed into, right? The first things that you're seeing is like, oh, that's a girl that's skinnier than me. Oh, that's a guy that with more abs. Oh, that's a guy that's like this. Oh, that's a person that has more. That's a person. So we're automatically like from when we're growing up and we begin to get to become teenagers and we get a phone, we're saying, oh, I'm not enough. Like more is the answer. More is like the answer to this problem. And I will be adequate when I get more. So that's the answer. That's the answer to this equation. If 2 plus 2 equals 4, then that's 4 more, you know? um, and that's the narrative, you know? And now I'm starting to realize I can be thinking of a whole narrative. I can be believing this whole situation, this whole story that isn't even real. You know, it's just my fears talking to myself, telling me whatever I want to hear to be negative about life. You know, and sometimes there's nothing to be sad about, but I want to be depressed. I don't know, like I want to be the victim in my situation. I want to be the victim in life. I don't want to uh I don't want to be happy sometimes, you know, and maybe that sounds like super duper depressing, but I know somebody else could relate to that where it's just like, man, like what is life right now? Like life just sucks, man. Like what is this, you know? And you see everybody has their stuff together and it feels like you're the only one that doesn't, you know? And that's just not true. That's just not. And I've been the person where I'm posting online or whatever it is, or I'm doing whatever, right? I'm the guy behind the camera that they're looking at and they're saying, "Oh, his life is so good. It looks like he has something I don't have." And then they're coming at me with that type of energy and I'm just like, "Dude, I'm just like you, man. Like I promise you my life is not that great." You know, it just seems like it to you. Maybe I experienced a couple more things, maybe I learned a couple more things, maybe I went a couple more places, but yeah. You know, and I feel more hasn't been the answer for me. Getting more hasn't been the thing that made me happier. Getting less has been made me happier. Uh the pain has made me happier. Losing it all has made me happier. Uh learning has made me happier. You know, there's a true joy in life when you don't need anything to have joy. You're just creating, you're just living, and you're just being, man. And that's a feeling and a high like no other. You know, remember when we were kids and we just would go down the street and our level for like a 10 was going down the street, getting some ice cream on our bikes, playing a little basketball on the street, this, that, and this, and that was our 10, you know, and now we're fried to the point where like our 10 is uh skydiving off the CN Tower. I don't know. I guess when I was in school and when I was uh doing whatever that made me feel like I was inadequate, uh I just was scared of what being adequate was. Like what being enough was and what like you get scared of trying, you know? I remember even playing tennis, you know, it's like uh when I when I really got into it and I wanted to really get better and I wanted to become this great thing. I wanted to become the next Roger Federer, next Rafa Nadal. I started to realize it's really hard. It's really hard to become the next Roger Federer. It's really hard to become the next Nadal. It's really hard to become the next Carlos Alcaraz. And then you start to see everybody and they're living normal lives and they're not sacrificing like how you're sacrificed. They're not going at war every single day against yourself to make this thing happen that you is not foreseeable and nobody sees, you know? And even with this podcast, it's like nobody sees this but me. Nobody has the ability to see what I want to do in my life, what I see myself doing in the future, the vision and the purpose that I have for myself with this, you know? And you feel a little bit crazy. You feel a little bit out of place. You feel a little bit like, um, I want to stop trying right now because I don't want to get laughed at. I want to stop trying right now because I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want people to think I'm nothing. I'm trying so hard, but like what if this all ends up to be nothing? And that fear is not real, because if you just don't stop, you're going to get there. Like, I have no doubts in my mind that I can be that thing. I had no doubts in my mind when I was playing tennis that I could be one of the greatest tennis players in the world. I had no doubt in my mind when I was doing anything that I was doing that I could not be the best at doing it. The only thing that held me back from wanting to do it, and the only thing that held me back from really going out and just being crazy enough to be crazy enough to go try, was the eyes of what other people thought of me. The thoughts that came into my head when I'm like, what it's going to take for me to be who I want to be is going to be so much pain. And I don't want to feel it. I want to be just like everybody else. I want to be enough, And the thing is, it's like enough is what, is enough comes from being uncomfortable enough and courageous enough to go do the thing that makes you feel enough. When I come off of doing this, when I come off of speaking in front of this mic, when I come off of editing a video, when I post every single day and I'm like doing everything I need to be doing, I feel so good. Like, there's no better feeling than being locked in. There's none at all. Like, that's the peak feeling. Creating what you want to create is the peak feeling that I feel. Yet, I want to meet everybody's societal standards for like what success is. Like, I want to have the amount of money in my bank account that somebody else could look at me and say, yeah, you're rich. But on the back end, I want everything that makes me feel rich, which isn't being rich. Sometimes the creation, the thing you love makes you feel richer than the money does. Right now, I feel better than ever about what I'm doing, where I'm at in life, because this is aligned with me. When it's aligned with who you are, when it's aligned with what you want, when it's aligned with everything that you're here for, it feels like, wow. But then comes the courage, the doubt that everybody's looking at you and everybody's saying there's something wrong with that kid. And I felt that feeling before. I felt that feeling when I started this podcast. I felt that feeling when I posted the videos and it didn't get any views. I felt that feeling when I was in that freaking school and I would walk out the class when I had to take a damn test and people would laugh at me. And it's just like, what's so wrong with being different? Everybody thinks that there's something wrong with being different, but everybody is different. Everybody here is made different in life, but yet I'm fucked up because I'm different. And it's like after high school, that cool shit is dead. Like, that cool shit is not fucking cool. Like, that smoking weed all day, like, that's not cool. It's not cool to be a gangster. With the Lil Durk songs and the NBA Youngboy songs, you're trying to be NBA Youngboy, but NBA Youngboy's rich. NBA Youngboy is like doing a whole nother thing in life. You should really try to be you. You should really try to be you, because that cool shit is out of style. Just like A$AP Rocky said, dude, when did it become uncool to try? When did it become uncool to try in life? And going back into the quote, we ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Who am I not to be imperfectly perfect? Like, we are completely imperfectly perfect. I am everything but nothing at the same damn time. I'm great, but on the back end of me not being great, all of my flaws, all the things that the teachers brought me out of the class for, is the damn reason I'm perfect in every way to be perfect for who I am. Because every single trait, even if it's bad, good, every trait that I have to overcome, all the greed that I have to overcome, all the maybe ways that I can't manage this and manage that, manage my emotions, have too much emotion, that's the reason and the same exact things that are gonna make me the best possible person I possibly can be. Because once I learn how to manage, once I learn how to paint my canvas the way I intend to paint my canvas, once I learn how to do life the way I've been meant to do life, everything is going to be piece of cake. Everything's going to be good, But every single day that I lived and I acted as if I was somebody I wasn't, I lived the worst day of my life. But every day that I've lived and I've lived exactly as who I am and lived exactly as who I know I can be, life has turned and been like, dude, life is pretty good when you're just not trying to be somebody else, man. Like when I'm just trying to be me, when I'm just letting it be, when I'm just doing me, it's good, whether it's wrong or right. And that sense of wrong or right has gotten in my head and I feel like fucked me up because it's like, who are you to decide what's wrong or right? That we're not on this earth to answer to other people. We're not on this earth to to live for other people. It's like your relationship with God is what's gonna tell you what's wrong and what's right.